This is one of the best theatrical experience I ever had. This is absolutely brilliant. Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer is awesome.
5, 4.
Give away all the spoilers since the movie is already released for about 3 weeks or so. Oppenheimer is mostly inspired from the book American Prometheus, written by Kai Bird and Martin J. Sherwin. This movie is biography of J. Robert Oppenheimer, who is also known as the father of atomic bomb. This film starts on different timeline, like creating a jigsaw puzzle in very typical Nolan style, and then adds up everything at the end. Before going into the film, I honestly didn't have much knowledge about the history of atom bomb and its background. So when the movie starts and kept on moving around different timeline, I thought that maybe I should have read a little bit more about the history and then come, because I was simply missing out stuff. I was not getting it at the start, but it's not. But it is not required at all. Was a way of directors capturing the attention and keep the audience captivating for next 3 hours. This is a 3-hour long movie and 3 hours biography, which is mostly filled with discussions, and that can be terribly boring. But the greatness of directors Christopher Nolan is that he kept the film very interesting and the attention of the audiences into the film. I think the way this film is made, and I think I wouldn't mind watching this for a couple of more hours. It is so great. It kept a sense of urgency and used plot device of secret trial of Oppenheimer to keep us glued on the screen. For example, it was found that Nazi Germans are ahead of US in nuclear power, and now US needs to make atom bomb before Hitler's Nazi Germany could create. So this creates a sense of urgency, and there was about the moral dilemma of creating atom bomb and personal scandals and politics, and this film covered so much that was needed to show, and the stuff that is not shown is probably not needed for this story. And I think this balance is quite brilliant in this movie. Just while watching this movie, I also remember I had a conversation quite some time back with a 92 years old ex-US Army man in social media, and I remember talking about the bombing in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which was bombed in retaliation to attack in Pearl Harbor. The film is quite clear that they have just trying to find an excuse to use the bomb. The Americans would have used the bomb anyway, in any excuse. Anyway, I just bluntly once told them that that the retaliating Pearl Harbor with an atom bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki was morally wrong and inhuman. To this, he replied that you shouldn't start a war which you can't finish. And I was absolutely speechless, and I didn't know what to reply. And I still remember this reply. This movie used reference of Bhagavad Gita in two very important situations of this film. And historically, J. Robert Oppenheimer, who did felt a sense of guilt after creating the weapon of mass destruction, finds solace in Bhagavad Gita. So for people who doesn't know what Bhagavad Gita is a Hindu scripture where warrior Arjun is in a moral dilemma whether he should fight his cousin for battle of Kurukshetra, and the Lord Krishna inspired Arjun to fight as part of his duty, as Arjun is a warrior class and it is his duty for a warrior to fight. So he should fight for the truth and his duty. And so it is understandable why Oppenheimer read Bhagavad Gita and finds solace in Bhagavad Gita. The way Cillian Murphy portrayed the role of Oppenheimer is absolutely brilliant. His different emotion, dilemma, and conflict that was going through with him are absolutely wonderfully performed and captured in the film. There's a scene where after the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Oppenheimer is feeling terrible from inside and understanding the extent of the damage. He is completely mentally he's completely lost, but he goes to stage with a thunderous applause and made some extremely jingoistic comments against Germans and Japan, which followed by a louder applause. This among the people could be seen in this scene. The Murphy performed this scene the way the Nolan shot this scene, something that will remain in the minds of the audience for a very, very long time. The other performance that really stood out is of Robert Downey Jr. This is absolutely his best performance as Lewis Strauss. Cinematography by Heithel van Heitoma is brilliant. The way he captured the scene of atom bomb testing is absolutely brilliant. Editing by Jennifer Lynn is great, and the music by Ludwig Göransson is superb. There is a scene of atom bomb testing which is highlighted with absolute silence and then a thundering sound. It was an unbelievable scene, and there was some scenes shot in black and white, which I was little confused that Nolan is trying to show here by showing certain scene in black and white. So after watching the film, I tried to find out what Nolan is trying to say, and I found out that Nolan is trying to portray the stuff which is absolutely true. Those scenes might be true or might be fictional. It is not clear, but the scenes in black and white is absolutely true. So I thought that's a great way that Christopher Nolan shot this film. This film is mostly shot on an IMAX camera made for 70mm IMAX screen. We do not have exactly 70mm IMAX screen in my city, the place where I live. But I watched it whatever IMAX available here, and I love this experience a lot. Nolan's tried to use CGI bare minimum, which means that most scenes had practical effect, and the result of this is out in the screen. There are some people who are saying that Nolan had not used CGI at all, but as for the interviews that I saw, I never saw Nolan saying that. Nolan only said that he used CGI bare minimum. He never said that he did not use CGI at all. I have always said that Christopher Nolan is my most favorite director since I watched Inception, and I was completely blown away. I always loved his work. This is the best Christopher Nolan movie, and I was wondering while going to this film how exactly Christopher Nolan will take on this subject. I was wondering if he's going to glorify Oppenheimer or overtly criticize him for what he created. But Christopher Nolan did neither. He just showed things as it is and let the audience decide. He just portrayed a story. And I think that is the greatness of the director Christopher Nolan, that he managed to do this on a person who had extreme views. People have extreme views on Oppenheimer, but still Christopher Nolan has managed to do it. Overall, I love this film a lot. I would love to rewatch this film again. I'm sure I will find many interesting stuff which I might have missed in the first view. One of the most perfect films I have ever seen. My rating for this amazing movie is 9 out of 10. Do write down in the comment section what do you think about this film, and do hit the like button to this video. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and hit the bell icon for notification. And you can also follow me on my social network pages like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The links for this will be given below in the description box. Thanks for watching this video, and peace.
We knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.